Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Very warm welcome this afternoon. An even bigger welcome. I'm going to try very hard to say this. For Nazareno.
Nazareno. Like Nazarene.
Like Nazarene.
Oh.
Nazareno.
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 Oh, Nazareno.
Yes.
Yes. To this lovely gentleman in the corner. It's a very special afternoon for us. He's come a long way, and I want you to put all the love in your heart out to him. So that his work this afternoon will be even more brilliant than it normally is, because that's what love does. Also, we're doing them slightly different in that the healing prayer is going to be at the end. Because he says that the healing generates during the service. And so it is more important to say the healing prayer at the end. So that's what we're going to do today. So I'm going to open you in prayer, then we'll have our hymn, and then I'm going to pass on. All right. Please go into the quiet. And remember the importance of each and every one of us, and the tremendous amount of love that each one of us can generate, and how this world of ours so needs that love. Divine Spirit, we ask you to bless our room and every single person in it. We look forward to our afternoon in your presence. And we leave it in your care and keeping, and in your name, which is love.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
It's a great honor for me to be here with you, accepting the very kind invitation of our sister Elizabeth, being in the presence of Tricia, and all you that came here to this lecture tonight, in this afternoon. At first, I would like to say that I have no authority to speak about depression. I'm not a physician, I'm not a psychiatrist, I'm not a psychologist. I'm going to share with you only my experience of 27 years of depression, and how Spiritism, how the holistic view of life have helped me a lot to go through this problem. So today we're going to speak about depression and the therapy of love. We're going to try to tell you about Jesus, the best psychologist ever. The modern psychiatrists and psychologists, they are finding out that Jesus has in his gospel a wonderful therapy for all of us. We're going to speak about spiritual influence on our lives too, spiritual obsession, as we say in Spiritism. And in a matter of fact, this is a seminar of 4 hours. We have 4 lectures. The first, that is today's lecture, Depression and Therapy of Love. The second lecture is Self-Forgiveness, Happiness Without Guilt. The third one is Depression and Spiritual Obsession, and the importance of self-knowledgement. And the fourth one is Depression and Disattachment, the importance of working towards to the good, the importance of the charity, because it's the best medication for depression, is work on good. Okay? When I say something that is not clear because my English is not good, I want you to raise your hand so Elizabeth may help, or I may rephrase so it will be more clear for you. Okay?
Okay.
While you be understanding, you keep smiling. When you got serious, I know there will be something wrong. Okay? And as we are going to say some Spiritist words, maybe it's not clear. I want you to raise your hand so I can explain. I want to understand everything I say. Okay? I will count on Elizabeth's help to some words that I don't know the meaning in English, so God bless us all. Let's begin asking Jesus, our lovely Master, to give us His peace. And we shall begin saying that depression is not a modern disease. Indeed, it's very ancient, it's very old. But in the old times, people used to know depression with different names. Melancholy was the most used. The word depression was created only in the 17th century and became very known after Freud in the 19th century. So, if we look at the history, we're going to see depression in many men's lives. We're going to see in Bhagavad Gita, the most sacred, the most beautiful book of Hinduism, in the talking of the disciple Arjuna with this Master Krishna, when he says the need of the changing of renounce, Arjuna makes a typical frame of melancholy. We're going to see in the Bible too, in the book of Job, when he goes through that deep suffering, he makes a typical frame of depression too. The King Saul, in his nights of sadness, asking for David to sing to him so he could be more joyful. Aristotle used to say that Plato and Socrates very often reclude themselves, staying very lonely. In that times, Aristotle imagined that men, they get in contact with the spirits, with the daimons, the Greek word that means Spiritist. And that, unfortunately, it became a synonym of Satan, of devil, but the original word in Greek means Spiritist. And good spirits, guardian angels, and Socrates used to speak a lot with his guardian angel. But they, in these times, used to be very melancholic too. We're going to see in the history many famous men that were depressive. So I want to tell you that depression is not going to keep us unable to do things. Even depressive, we can do wonderful jobs. We can give a wonderful treasure to the humankind. So it happened with these men, those men that I just mentioned. We heard that Michelangelo used to be a depressive too. The great genius of the art, the painting, and sculpture was depressive. William Shakespeare, the greatest playwrights of every times. If we take a look at his plays, Hamlet and Lady Macbeth, about his characters, you help me, I want to... Characters. I want you to correct me, okay?
We're still smiling.
Be severe. Very good. Be severe, but not rude.
Okay, all right.
Hamlet and Lady Macbeth, we can see a typical frame of depression too. So, we imagine the biographers, they imagine that William Shakespeare had a little of depression too. Abraham Lincoln, one of the greatest presidents of the United States of America, was a typical depressive, bipolar depression. that the person swings between the state of depression and the state of euphoria, a maniac. They're full of energy, and he was a typical case. Virginia Woolf, the same way. Her husband says that at the end of her life, she spoke for 3 days, without stopping, in a typical case of bipolar depression. Edgar Allan Poe, Ludwig van Beethoven, the famous composer, when he became deaf about the 6th symphony, the Pastoral, he became completely deaf, and because he used to feel impossible loves from a married woman or something like that, he got a very hard depression. But even depressive, he wrote the 90th Symphony, the Ode to Joy, giving us a great treasure to all the humankind. We're going to see many other cases like Leo Tolstoy, the literary Russian, which has the IQ of 190, a genius. He was depressive too. And we can say that in Brazil we have the figure of Alberto Santos Dumont, one of the creators of the airplane, as together with the brothers Wright, in a phenomena that Carl Gustav Jung would call it synchronism. Synchronicity. They developed that invention. And the biography says that Santos Dumont, when he found out that his invention was being used in the First World War, he was very sad, took a tie, and committed suicide. He was a depressive person too. So you're going to see that many people, many intelligent men and women were depressive. And even so, they had given us a wonderful treasure. We want to say that depression is indeed a bad thing. But God only allows the evil because He knows that from there the good will spring. Was it clear?
Yes.
Okay, keep smiling. The Spirit says that to us in the Gospel according to the Spiritism, that God only allows the evil, only allows us to harvest what we said. Que nós sememos.
Harvest what we've sowed before.
What we sowed before, because He knows that this would be good for us. We're going to learn with that. So depression is going to make us stop, because we are always hurried. In modern life, we have no time for anything. And we don't stop to make one of the most important things that we should do in our lives, that is the self-knowledgement. The inner travel. And depression is a way that nature finds to make us stop. Say, hey, stop. I want you to know about yourself. Who are you? What are you doing on this world? Where your child dreams that you may have given up? Maybe in name of fathers who want to project themselves in the children's, asking them to become lawyers or doctors so they could be more proud. And maybe that children that wanted to be a great painter gave it up because of the parents, their relatives. So depression is going to help us to discover ourselves. This is one of the meanings of depression. And we're going to see that even Francis of Assisi had depression. When he was young, he was from a very healthy family. He used to play with his friends. He used to sing. He used to go to the bars to drink. And when there was the crusades, the second crusade, Francis of Assisi joined with his friends and said, let's go to war. Let's fight for Jesus. And then he went. He got in jail. They locked him up. He got sick. Lost a lot of weight. And after some months, his family pays ransom, so they can bring him back to
bail.
Bail?
They bailed him out
Bailed
from
him
jail.
out, yes, from jail, so he could come back to his hometown. And then when he came back, very thin, very weak, he stayed for 1 year in bed. And the biographers, they don't know what happened exactly, because in that time we don't know the word depression, we don't have this diagnosis, and so they don't know what happened at this 1 year. But Divaldo Pereira Franco, in the seminar about this the life of this incomparable man, says that Francis of Assisi has stayed in bed 1 year of depression. And in that long light of 1 year, Francis of Assisi has found out that his life, his mission on earth, wasn't to be with friends in the bars, drinking and singing, but he was a messenger of Christ. That he was really the singer of the nature, the singer of joy. And he lived the gospel like no one else. And he needed the depression to make him wake up. Because God didn't create us to suffer. That's what the Spirit says. Joana de Angelis, the spiritual mentor of Divaldo Franco, she used to say that the flowers, they wake up only by the light of sun. At the first rays of the sun, they bloom, they wake up. But the stones, says Joana de Angelis, the stones, Divaldo, they need the dynamite to wake up. We are that stones. We still need the dynamite to make us wake up. So, if you get sleep here, I brought some dynamite too. And so the suffering is not the meaning of life. What's the meaning of life, I would like to ask you? What do you think? What is the purpose of life? Why are you here on earth?
To learn.
To learn? What else?
To love.
To love? Very good.
To evolve.
To evolve.
Evolve.
To teach.
To teach. Very good.
To give.
To what?
Give.
Give. Oh, it's a wonderful audience. Wonderful answers. Yes, and when I was in the beginning of Spiritism, I used to study at home, but I didn't frequentar. I didn't go to any Spiritist center. Then when I decided to go, we were together in a group of study, Gospel according to the Spiritism study group. And then the teacher has asked me, Nazareno, why are you here on earth? Then I said, oh, we are here to evolve. We are here to learn. We are here to pay our debts from the past, because we believe in past lives. And we are here in mission too. And we are here suffering, but we only suffer because this is a primitive world. It's a world of proofs, trials, and expiations, suffering. But Earth is going to grow up to upgrade to a better world, a regeneration world, the Spirit says. And then I said that, I was very abafando, I was very proud of saying that. And he said, you're wrong. I said, how? I read it on this Allan Kardec's books. I said, what you say is in part, it's right. Allan Kardec is right. But all these things that you say, we only need them because we didn't go to the primary objective of the goal of life, for the principal objective. And what is it? Then he said, we are here to learn to love. Who was the person, the biggest spiritual authority that you know on earth? That I said, that I know, Jesus of Nazareth. And which are the commandments that he said to us? Love God with all your spirit, of all your soul, and love the neighborhood as yourself. Love. We are here to love. We're going only to evolve when we learn to love. We are suffering because we don't know how to love yet. We are paying debts from the past because in the past we didn't love as we should have loved. And only loving, we're going to evolve. We're here to learn to love. So, we're going to see that depression may have a lot of causes, 4 different causes. We're going to have biological causes, organic causes, because we are on a body. We forget that we are a 4-kind reality. A bio, psycho, social and spiritual reality. So depression normally, it's one of those or many of those. And we need to fight against depression, looking for all the possible causes. There are the organic causes. Researchers say us that the depressive person, they have low levels of some neurotransmitters, like serotonin, dopamine, and noradrenaline. And they need some medication to help the body, because our body is different. Who is depressive has a different body. Our perispirit, which is the
etheric
body, when we reincarnate, it prints on our genes the information that we're going to need to learn more in this life. And then maybe if we are in the spiritual world with very deep guilty feelings, for example, we may reincarnate in a body with tendency for depression. That was my case. I had a lot of guilty feelings. And then we need the medication to help the body to go to upper level so we can get better. It's very important. We always say in Spiritism that the spiritual treatment is not to stop the medical treatment. It's very important that we need to treat the body. The gospel, according to the Spiritism, say take care of body and the spirit. And then we need to use the medication. Who is in depression needs. I have used it for 11 years. And then I got better, much better when I became Spiritist. They treated a spirit that were influencing me very much. We're going to say about that. Then I spent 4 years without medication. But then I used to live in Ceará, Fortaleza, which is a beautiful city near to the sea. Sunny city, all year sunny. And then now I am living in Brasilia for 1 year. And then I am far from my family. I am far from my ex-girlfriend. I have no more the friends that I used to have. I miss the sea of Ceará. And then I got a little depressive. Today I don't say that I got depression anymore. I said I am on reflection, which is fancier. And then I said I want to go to a doctor. I went to a doctor and I said my problems. I said my story. And said, "Oh, Nazareno, you just need to stop for a while, because you, as you said, you don't know how to say no, and you are overcharged. You are tired. Como é que é fadiga?
Overtiredness.
Overtiredness. And you need." I said, "But I do want the medication, please, because I want to work more. I want to be a gospel disseminator. How can I speak about the gospel, which means good news, being sad, being apathic, being depressive? I need to have more energy to help people. I want to do more. Because the Spiritism says us that the good that we do here on earth is our lawyer everywhere. That we don't have a karma. That our karma is dynamics. It means that the good that you do here cleans your karma. As in the Gospel says that the love, the charity, deletes the crown of sins. Is it that is written right there? Deletes?
All your sins.
All your sins, yes. And like Jesus says, because she loved us so much, all the sins were forgiven. So we are here to love. And then we're going to say that it's important that we use the medication. The medication is going to make our mood increase, so we get better. We are going to even to be away from the bad spirits, because we, when we are depressive, our mind, our spirit is on a vibration very low, which connects with depressive spirits too, because there are depression in spiritual world too. And so we get the medication, we go increase our mood, keeping us a little away from them. It's good for that even. And as someone who has high pressure needs the medication, like the one who has diabetes needs the medication, we need to use the medication if we have depression. Okay? At least for the beginning, for the first step, because the person is in the big hole. Yes? She needs to get off. This does need to give the first step. Then later, maybe, if she's fine, she should take it off. But we are not. We are very proud. Oh no, I am a church, I'm a Spiritist, or I'm having healing, so I don't need medication. But the spirits say it to Allan Kardec. Allan Kardec asks the spirits in the Book of Mediums, in the item 228, which moral imperfection the bad spirits use to prejudicar a gente,
to damage us.
to damage us the most. And said, from all your imperfections, the one that they prefer, that it's very easy to damage you, is the pride.
Is that pride?
Pride. Because it's our imperfection that the Creator does not see, does not confess. Because the pride is a blindness. You see? You see no imperfections on you. And this is very bad. In the Gospel according to the Spiritism, in the chapter 10, item 10, the Spirit says that the pride is the father of all vicious.
Vice.
Vicious.
No, vice.
Vice.
Yeah. The father of all vice.
Father of all vice. Thank you. The soul of many evils. And the principal obstacle to our spiritual progress. That's why Jesus has fight against the pride so hard. And we are going to see the pride as the motive of all our actions. We think that we are doing charity because we are good. No, sometimes it's because of our pride. See, we don't know ourselves. In Bahia, André Luiz Peixinho, a famous speaker, he made a research with a group that used to do charity. 40 people. They used to visit the poor people, the need people, and then he asked, why do you do charity? And they said, oh, because it's good, because we do show love our brother, charity is good, and blah, 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 blah. I said, okay, but I want to ask one by one, individually, I want to know what else. Why do you do charity? And he found out that 40 ones, 25 were doing charity because they were afraid to go to the hell. Afraid to hell, to umbral. In Spiritism, we call it umbral. Because according to the Spiritism, the hell is not eternal. When the spirit wants to get better, he receives help. God is sovereign and just and good. And the other 14 said that they were doing the charity because they wanted to give spiritual bonus. They wanted to go to a spiritual world and have more money, you know, something like that. And one of them has said to Peixinho, no, Peixinho, I confess that I do charity. Because when I go out at night with my friends, I tell them, oh, today I went to a hill. I saw a lot of things. I helped many people. You know, he wants you just to
Brag
brag.
about. Yes.
What?
Brag about.
Yes, brag about. Also, of the 40 people, no one was doing the charity for the true meaning, which should be love, compassion, altruism, something like that. So we don't know ourselves. We need to stop looking at the superficial and look inside. And depression is going to help us to do that because we don't have time. We're always running to pay our bills, to take care of children, to work and to see TV or something else. We don't have time to look at ourselves. So we are always looking for vice. Drink, TVs, internet.
Is that a vice, the internet?
Yeah, eat. We are reading, or our church. We are running away from ourselves. We are trying to keep our mind busy, because we cannot look at ourselves. See? Yes. Some women, they are viciada, addicted.
No, addicted.
Addicted on gossip. And a spiritual friend, Samuel, he has told me, Nazareno, the women are very superior spirits. They're very noble spirits. They learn very much when they have a child. They learn renounce. They learn the unconditional love. The love of the mothers is the most likely love like God. It's the most similar to God's love. And then he said, but there's a point about women that they lose all the advantage. I said, which? I said, the gossips. And then one lady heard that in a lecture, and then she raised her hand and said, Nazareno, but there are many men that like gossips too.
True.
And then the Spirit said, he should have been a woman last life. It's the only explanation. Enough is by the chance. So we have organic causes. We live in a body, and we need to take care of it. And in modern life, we are very sedentary. Our body was built in millions of years, running, hunting, fishing, climbing the trees. We had to work hard to have our food. And nowadays, what is the workout that we do? We push the remote control. Or open the refrigerator's door. And I think that someday we're going to have a remote control to open the refrigerator. Yeah. And it's very bad for our body. We need to have exercises. We need to work out. Because when we work out, our body produces some endorphins that make us feel pleasure, feel happy, and sleep better. It's good for our health. It's good for our body. So some kind of depression, they will need even that the person have some activity, some exercises. It's very important, more than we imagine. And some research say that if we have regular exercises, it's okay. Keep smiling. Then we are going to have more disposition. We're going to have more energy, 25% more energy than if we don't do. But it needs to be regular, and it needs to be balanced. Because normally we exaggerate. We work very, very hard, so we get tireless fatigue.
Tired, just fatigue.
Fatigue,
yeah.
Fatigue, yes. So maybe some yoga or Tai Chi Chuan or some kind of this, it would be very good for a depressive person. We have social causes of depression too. Of course we have. When we have a problem in our family, when we have a problem in our country, in our nation, employment, and when we lose, under quotes, because we don't lose people, when that lovely person goes to the greater world before we expected, and when we have an affective disillusion, yeah. Sometimes I create some new words. I want to improve my English skills. I learned that, I like this phrase. And then we're going to see that these social causes, they are really serious. The TV shows us one kind of happiness that is not true. They show us that we are going only to be happy if we are very beautiful, if you are young, if you are very rich, if you have a new brand car, if you have an helicopter, or if you have a beautiful wife and wonderful children, that we are only going to be happy if we are like the princess and the princess of the movies. Because they need to sell products. And that's why they show us, which is not true. God would not be unfair. How, if for being happy, the person had to be really handsome, how could Nazareno, which is from Ceará, be happy? Couldn't he be? Of course he'll be. Just because we have flat head on Ceará, flat head, small and short man, and couldn't be happy. Of course he can.
Good
Happiness.
things come in small packaging.
Oh yes, small packaging. The best perfumes come in small bottles, but the worst poisons too, isn't it? And then we need to look at that and see this is not happiness. We became slave of things, of the material world. That's why we need to disattach a little. We're not going to have a lot of time to speak about that, but it's important that we know that happiness is an inner state. It's not outside state. Things are going to give us comfort, but not happiness. I had a BMW car while I was atheist. I was atheist for 12 years, but I was saved from the atheism by depression. Depression made me wake up like a dynamite, and now I'm a new man because of depression. I thank the depression for that. And after 3 months, I looked at the car and I forgot him. I didn't wash it anymore. See, it's just the new novidade.
The novelty. Novelty.
Yeah, the novelty. After 3 months, it loses his value. Appeal, yes. Then we're going to see that, like Confucius used to say, that truly rich is not the one who has many treasures, many properties, much money. Truly rich is the one that needs a little to be happy. And the happiest person I know is Maria. She works on the same institution that I work in Brasilia. She receives only salário mínimo.
Minimum wage.
Minimum wage from Brazil, which would be about...
It's about £60 a month.
£60 a month. And she bakes. She brings bakes from home to sell, to improve her money. And then she arrives at 6:30 in the morning, and she comes smiling. She's very plenty. She's very happy what she does. She likes to talk to the people, to sell cakes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, cakes. And and I know many millionaire people that cannot sleep. They need to take pills, drugs to sleep, because they are very concerned to lose what they've got. And as they got a lot, they spend a lot too. And one day you have, the next day you may not have. This is in Buddhism they say this, the law of impermanency. Impermanency?
Impermanency.
Yes. So if you are a slave of the things or of the people, we're going to suffer. We need to love them, but not be enslaved of them. So there are the social causes that we needed to say some words about it. There are the psychological causes, and there are the spiritual causes too. Let's talk about the psychological causes first. We have 1 hour and a half, isn't it?
Yes, you have another half an hour. Well, 40 minutes.
40 minutes?
Maximum, yeah.
Maximum.
Well, 35 minutes maximum.
Oh, Jesus.
Talk fast.
We're going to see that there are many psychological causes. If we go to a psychologist, it's going to be very good, because a very good tool of self-knowledgement too. Because in the question 919 of the Spirit's book, Allan Kardec asked the spirits, which is the more efficacious way for the man to improve himself and to be safe from evil temptation? And the spirits answers him, know thyself. Know yourself. So it's very important that we know ourselves so we can keep our mind away from spiritual influences. I'm going to speak about spiritual influences to you at first. May I? Because the psychological approach, they are on the CDs, and if maybe I don't have time to do everything today, okay? And I think a spiritual influence for you, it's a different approach. I'd like to talk about it. So, Nazareno, can spirits influence in our lives? Yes. How is that? Why don't they do whatever they want? Because it's not that way. They only can influence us if we allow them to do that. Because it's not that one spirit wants to hurt someone, then he's going to get it. God isn't fair. If it was so, no one could ever build a church, a spirit center, a spiritualist church, or any religious church, una mezquita,
Mosque.
a mosque, or anything like that. Because the evil spirits wouldn't allow us, but they only can influence us when we do allow them. And how do allow them, Nazareno? We give them the wallet so they can plug on us. Because there's a law of affinity, the syntony. You know? Similars attract similars. Yes. In the spiritual world, it's like that. Our thoughts, our emotion are going to be very important. That's why Jesus had said to us, pray and watch out. Watch out. Orai vigiai.
And pray and watch yourselves, so watch your thoughts.
Pray and watch your thoughts so you don't fall in temptation. Because he was talking about this. So, which are these wallets, Nazareno? Which are these plugs? The Spirit says to us that are the moral imperfections, the pride, the selfishness, the vanity, the impatient, our omission on good, our intolerance, our envy, our gossips, all these bad things, our depression, our angry. When we are with these faults, this emotion, our vibration falls down. And then we connect with the bad spirits, which are just people like us. People which are suffering, or some people that are angry with us because we have done something bad for them in the past. Because God is fair. He does not allow that innocent pays for something that he does not owe. I had a debit. That's why I have depression. And then Chico Xavier, the famous medium in Brazil, which has wrote 412 books, psychograph books. He used to say that better than shoo the flies, it's better to cure the wound that is attracting the flies. You know? Mm-hmm. Like Jesus used to say, that if we take away a bad spirit from a house, but if we keep it clean and ordered, then that spirit, he walks on the desert, and when he knows that the house is clean and ordered, then he comes back, brings 7 spirits worse than him. What can we do, Nazareno? We need to make this self-knowledgement. We need to study so we can get more faith. And we need to change ourselves, become more better people. Nazareno, but it's very hard to become an angel. Yes, it's very hard. And God does not want us to become an angel in one life. This is a very big problem too. This perfectionism is one cause of depression too. There are many spiritists trying to become angels, trying to become pure spirits, and forgetting that they are human. Then they got depression. Because they put a standard very high. And as they cannot keep it on the line all the time, then they fall. And then they fall, they get frustrated. And it increases our sadness. It's one cause. And this perfectionism is motivated by our pride. Not pride where he is. We're going to see that the spirits have influence in our lives. In my case, I had depression for many years. I had depression since I was a child. But I didn't notice that. It was very soft. It was not deep depression. My mommy used to think that I was mute. Then she'd take me to a doctor to see if I was really mute, because I almost didn't speak. Now I am speaking a lot.
Making up for lost time.
Como é tirar atrás? Tirar atrás.
Tricia said it.
Making up for lost time.
Yeah, making up for lost time. And I was very quiet, very lonely, and I had few friends. And many times I wanted to commit suicide. When I was 11, I decided to kill myself. I climbed a wall and decided to jump my head on the floor. And I was just doing that, a cousin that were living on a house, a poor cousin. You see how good it is to do the good. That young man that were in our house by favor saved my life. He looked at me and said, "Nazareno, what are you doing there? Come down." And I wake up. And I woke up. But I almost got killed by myself when I was 11. So it's very important to study about depression. Because many people are around us with depression and we may even not notice. I had a bad experience in this life. That a young man, 25 years old, he got married and after just 3 months has a discussion with his mother, and then he killed himself. And he used it to be in my house many times because he was the best friend of my brother. And I never noticed he had a problem. The Spiritists used to say that depression is like a mother disease that has a lot of children disease.
Offsprings.
Offsprings? Mm-hmm. Offsprings? I don't know what you mean, but...
Yeah, offspring means new little bits
yes.
that come out of it.
Yes. The scientific research says that the depression makes us immunological system goes down. So it can make us have more disease than we should have. And some authors, it is not yet confirmed by the universal control of the spirits. Allan Kardec wanted us not to believe in every spirit. That we should, if it was really a revelation, should come from different mediums, from different spirits, all then saying the same thing. Then we could, submitting this to the logical, to the reason, seeing that it's reasonable, said, oh, that should be correct. It was very...
Sorry to interrupt you, we've just got to go because I've got to get children from school, so I just didn't want to walk in front of you. Sorry, carry on.
You can see the tape after, the DVD. Okay, bye-bye.
Yes.
Bye-bye. And then depression it's very common nowadays. and we need to watch out. Some authors, they say that even children that were very angry all the time, they may be suffering of depression. Enxaqueca. Migraine can be an effect of depression. Some allergies, unexplainable allergies or pains in the body may be a symptom of depression. And two very bad things nowadays: alcoholism and addiction to the drugs may have depression as cause. So the Spiritist psychologists, they used to say that it's not enough to take the young man or to take the alcoholic to the hospital to disintoxicate. If we do not find out what emptiness the drug, the alcohol is fulfilling, there's something wrong, and the person is se anestesiando,
anesthetizing it.
Yes, using the alcohol or the drugs like anesthesia. You know, so we need to see that depression is behind a lot of many problems, even tuberculosis. Some authors say that in the past, when we had no the antibiotics, penicillin, we lost very young men, the poets. Like in Brazil, we have Castro Alves, which has died at 26 years only by tuberculosis. And then this author, which is a psychiatrist, he said that they were not only romantic poets, they were even depressive people. And as depression had made the immunological system go down, the tuberculosis was lethal for them. You see, depression is like a pano de fundo, né? Like a background, yes, of many other problems. And it's the principal cause of suicide, is depression too. So we need to watch to depression with good eyes. Because the people that never had this problem think that, oh, this is laziness. This is not real. You're being lazy. And it's not true. The Health Worldwide Organization, OMS, WHO said that some years ago the depression is the disease of the century, because many people suffering of depression, many problems of depression. And so we're going to see maybe beyond the sedentarism, maybe it's because the mediumship has become more common nowadays. Like Jesus used to say in the Gospel, say, at the end of the times, I will spread from my spirit of all the flesh, upon all the flesh. Your children will prophesize. Your anciões, your old men will have dreams telling us that the mediumship was going to become more often each time. And we have some sensibility, some mediumships. We are more vulnerable to depression. So it's important that you do this study of the mediumship. And Allan Kardec has given us a wonderful book, the Book of Mediums, that it's very severe in some things, very clear, very scientific about the mediumship. It's very important that we use that book in our studies, if you want it. It's a very good source of information. Because as Kardec, because people hate to say, oh, Nazareno, but Kardec is sometimes very severe, it's very scientific. Why is that? It's because of the time he lived. He was in the 19th century. Everything which was religion was taken apart from society. Nobody wants to know about religion anymore. It was the time of positivism, of Auguste Comte. It was the time of rationalism. The new godness was the science. And so Allan Kardec took care, so the Spiritism should be presented as a science. The science which studies the origin, the destiny, the nature of the spirits, and their relationship to our material world. It's a philosophy too. And it has ethical, moral consequences. So it's a religion too, in the sentido amplo da palavra.
And the ample sense of the word.
Ample sense of the word as a religion too. So we need to watch out that, because there is the influence. In my case, what happened? I have been depressed for many years. I became Spiritist because of depression and because of a medium too. A clairvoyant medium. I was a atheist. I went there and she made very precious revelations about my life. I didn't say a word. She spoke for 1 hour and a half. The same time that I'm talking to you. Talking about my past, my present, and my future. I was paralyzed and said, oh, there's something else. There must be spirits or something like that. Then I asked her, which is the best religion you know? She said, Spiritism. I said, okay, thank you. Then I brought the books.
Done and dusted.
And she was wonderful. She said many details of many names of people. My father's name, where my father was, what we were doing. We didn't live in Fortaleza that time. We were living in Recife, not a city. And she said many things. She said, Nazareno, you have 3 degrees, 3 universities. And it was true. I was studied law, even so, 3 or 4 days in a month, I cannot get up from my bed. So is it true? I said, yes. And have you done the spiritual treatment? Spiritual treatment? What is that? We have in some states of Brazil. The spiritual treatment, there is nothing else than the study groups about the gospel according to Spiritism. People get together, they become friends, they have healing after the study of the gospel. Jesus as the psychotherapist, and fluidified water too. Spirit says that water is very useful to transmit energies. And then it said, and with this, the most severe cases, we take the names and go to this obsession mediunic meeting, where the mediums incorporate the spirits. They get in contact, and the spirits can talk, and we can talk to them and help them. I said, okay, I'll do that. I'll just do a little explanation about this obsession meeting. When the spirit is, he incorporates in the medium, it's just a word. He does not get in the body. It's just a telepathic contact. So the spirit, when he feels our vital energy, the vital fluids, it's very important for him, because maybe he's dead for a long time. And if he has died with a very hard, very angry with someone, he gets like hypnotized, like a mono idea. You know, only one idea. I want revenge, I want revenge, I want revenge. He can only think about that. And when he incorporates in the medium, when he receives our praise, all that vibration, then he feels much better, just for the incorporation. We call it this choque anímico. You know, like a anemic shock. It's not a shock. It's not a shock, but the fluids help him to his low vibration get higher. And then what happens? When the vibration gets higher, he can see the good spirits that are there. The doctors, the nurses that come to help, and especially the mothers. We speak to the spirit, but who does the work at the family, the spiritual family? The mothers, the sons, a master, a teacher that he used to respect, a friend, comes and say, come with us. We're going to take you to a better place. The mothers, when the spirits look at his mother, that maybe he's for 10, 20, 30, maybe a century, without seeing them, in the darkness, only seeing his enemy. And then when he sees his mother, they cry. It's a very touching meeting. We don't say, go away, it's Satan. No, we take care of that spirit. It's very touching for us. When I was a doctrinator, the one who speaks to the spirits, normally I used to cry in these obsession meetings. And the mothers are the ones who do the job. So it's very important that we have, if we could have here too, it would be wonderful. Because some depression cases are very severe, that they need that the spirit incorporate in a medium to be helped. And then in my case, it was very funny. The president said, Nazareno, we did this obsession meeting. I was the doctrinator. So, Seu Monteiro was his name. How was that? Because normally we don't tell the patient. Because if he knows about what we've done in the past life, we get more guilty feelings. That is very bad for us. We got auto-obsession. It's not good. Only in a special case, we should know about the bad things that we have done in the past. Then, as he knows that I have been reading the Allan Kardec's book for many years, I said, your case was very simple. It was a lover. A lady that was a lover from your past life. You were married, and you have a lover. And you hurt her very much. And she's very angry with you. And that night, while you sleep, the spirits believe that many of us, not everybody, but many times, we got out of our body at night when we are sleeping. And he said, and she takes you by the hand and take you to erotic, spiritual places. And you spend all night long doing sex with her.
Sounds good to me.
And then at that time, she sucks all your vital energy. And you wake up completely out of energy. I used to be dating all night long. And then he said that was very funny because I never ever had depression in the afternoon. And at night I was very happy, always. I only felt depression at the morning. That was very bad for me because, am I lazy? And I was more guilty feelings because of that. Because I could not get off the bed. The life was black and white. I didn't want to eat, I didn't want to get out, I didn't want to date. I didn't want to do anything, just stay on the bed, on the darkness. Then when he said that, it was, Mr. Monteiro is very funny because I only feel depression in the morning. It fits what you say. And normally I don't remember my dreams. But when I remember, they are erotic dreams. You see how it was connected? Then he told me, we spoke to her. She's getting better. They made 3 meetings for me. And since that this obsession meeting, I did not need any more drugs to sleep. Because I have insomnia.
Insomnia.
Insomnia. I was sleepless. Because my spirit knew that when I go sleep, I was going to meet the enemy. You see? I was sleeping with the enemy. But there are many different cases. People that we may have heard. The obsessors, the bad spirits, they're not bad, they're people like us. They were hurt. And they got hypnotized on the idea of revenge. Or maybe, like her, she hated me so much because she still loved me. We have a physical attraction very strong. And it's very funny because when we receive some spirit in the subsession meetings, that one that are more angry, normally they are still in love with the person. They've been rejected by that person. You know? So it's very important that we take care of our relationships too, that be responsible too in our relationships. Normally we're going to hurt people, yes, of course, but we should avoid that. Should be responsible in our relationships too. And then we're going to see that many other cases. Divaldo tell us a very special case that in the CDs I tell this case because you don't have many more time to speak. But this center, with his mediums, with this vibration that I've seen at the beginning, when we were singing, I remember Francis of Assisi. All the things that are in this inn made me remember him. And we have very good spirits too, trying to help us, taking care of us. In the spiritual world too. Nobody is out of hands God. Nobody is out of hands God. And we are here learning more and more. And depression, if we learn what depression is trying to teach us, we're going to do a great leap, great jump on our spiritual evolution. Divaldo had depression too. So we're going to see there are many more other causes of depression. But we want to tell you that we should, let me just say about anxiety. It's very connected with depression too.
Anxiety. Yeah.
I need my English to be Oxford pronounced. And then, why people are so excited today? Márcio, a friend of mine, is president of Spirit Center in San Diego. And he's a businessman. He has a factory of surfboards. And then he...
I am sorry.
If it's calling for me, I cannot answer now. But we should not look with bad eyes to that. When someone gets late in the meeting, don't look at with bad eyes. Because the vibration falls down. And this good vibration is helping many spirits. Divaldo used to say that these sessions of studies, of lectures, they are very good for us. There happens a lot of these obsessions. Because the good spirits come to help us. And they take our fluids, our vitals, and help many spirits that come here to be with us. Help us to. So, I was thinking about, I was talking about Márcio, and then I said, why Nazareno? Nowadays we listen so much about depression, and in the past, or in the country, nobody speaks about depression. I said, Márcio, three things. More mediumship nowadays. Sedentarism. What do you do? Do you have any sport? And said, oh, I surf. He surfs on the sea of San Diego, California. This wonderful sun and the sea, how can one have depression? There's no space for depression. And anxiety. The Spirit Hamed, through the medium Francisco de Espírito Santo Neto, he used to say that the depressive person is someone who is not inside. He is on the past, suffering by remorse, or remember of the good epochs, good times that never come back, or he's on the future, worried about the future. See, I was talking about someone gets late, and I forgot to tell. When somebody gets late, you don't say, "Oh, you got late." No, say that. Thanks God you came. Thanks God you came, got reached. And when the phone rings, say, "Oh, I could have forgotten mine too." And the sounded so good. Made the people which were sleeping wake up. Wasn't that? So we need to see the life with the eyes of love. You see, not being sick. We're not police officers. I am police officer. You're not you. And this anxiety is going to be very, very severe for us. And my psychologist, he said, "Leno, why don't you use that philosophy Zen Buddhist is about full attention?" Full attention? I said, yeah. You need to be present in every moment of your life. You need to live in the present. What do you mean? I said, when you go have a shower, take a shower. Feel the water falling in your body. Put the shampoo, cream, soap, sing. It's so good to take a shower. I don't know if it's because I come from Ceará, it's a very dry place, but I love to take shower. And when you go do a meal, appreciate every piece of the meal. Every meal is different. Be in the present, because we're not in the present. If you take someone who has a wonderful day, which was on a barbecue, on a party, all day long, but when he went to home, was going home, he stepped on the floor and hurt his feet. Then if you call him at night, said, "Oh, how was your day?" He said, "Oh, terrible. I step on the floor and I am hurt." And what about the day? So my psychologist said, I asked him, "Tom, what is the meaning of life for you?" I was paying. I couldn't make questions. And said, "No, if someone asked me that, I would say that the meaning of life is to feel, is to be present in every moment of our lives. Is to come home, see our son, to get down on our knees and hold our son. Is to meet my mothers, our grandmothers, and give her an embrace, a good hug, kiss their face, because this is a treasure that we have. Who today has remembered, without have seen, the birds? Raise your hand, please. Without have seen, remembered? Without have seen? Yes. Who remember the flowers without have seen them? Oh, see, only superior spirits here. And there are so many wonderful things. Givaldo says that all the nature sings when the brother sun comes. The birds sing. The flowers bloom. The man is the only animal that wakes up with bad humor, bad mood. So strange, isn't it? So he said, be present in your life. Because Jesus has told about that. Why the children are so happy and why we are so serious, so depressive. Who knows why?
No inhibitions.
Oh?
Children have no inhibitions.
No inhibitions? What else?
They don't worry about tomorrow, they live for now.
Yes! They live in the present. If there was a child here, beyond you, what were they doing? They were playing, running, kidding. They were, if you ask them, Do you remember your homework that you have to deliver tomorrow?
No.
No idea.
They don't even know what they're eating.
If you ask them, do you know if there's money to have to the snacks on the school tomorrow? They don't remember what clothes are going to use. The terrible test that you're going to have to do. Do you remember that? They have full attention in the present. And Jesus has told about that. He said, let the little children come to me. Because if you don't get similar to them, you don't go to enter in the kingdom's heaven. He wanted us to be like children. And he said, don't worry about tomorrow. The tomorrow will worry about himself. Each day has his own problems. So he was talking about the importance of the present. The importance of the faith on God. He said, look at the birds and the sky. They don't, I want to read it, but it's fine. They don't plant or
They don't
store.
Store, yes.
So store.
Mm-hmm.
And our Father gives them the food every day. Won't you more worth than the birds? Look at the lilies on the field. They don't
Toil or weep.
Toil?
Neither toil nor weep.
no
Neither
weep.
toil nor weep.
And I tell you the truth that neither the King Solomon in all his glory never have it dressed like them. If God dresses the herb that today lives today and tomorrow will be put on fire, how about you that are his beloved children? Oh, little faith man. So Jesus was talking us about the importance of living on the present, not being worried. We should be prudent. We should have some money for the rainy days. We should have a health plan. Health plan, something like that. But we should not be so worried, because our life is only worry. When you get on the spiritual world, what did you do, Nazareno? I worried. I did nothing, just worried. And the importance of doing the good. Because when we do the good, we're going to help people, we're going to help the spirits, we're going to help ourselves. So it's very important that we do something for our neighborhood. Because the charity, the love, is going to delete all our sins. Okay? So I want to tell you that I'm very glad to be here with you. And we have, I don't have idea about the time, but we have some time. We're going to make a break, and if you want to do some questions that I can answer, we'll be available, okay? So, that God blesses all us, that Jesus stay with us, and thank you so much.
Can I just say, I don't think I've ever sat through a talk about depression that's been so interesting, so thought-provoking. And I will keep it with me, and I'm sure all of us will, for a long time. Because the heart is speaking, and not a doctor. And the heart has obviously learned how to live through depression. And I think each of us need that little bit to keep with us. It's inspiring, and thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd also like to, before we close, this is a little gift from all of us. We have all signed this, and it is the stone of unconditional love.
Unconditional love?
Yes.
I spoke about unconditional love
Yes, you did.
yesterday night.
Yes, you did.
Yesterday night was our lecture, but it was in Portuguese, unfortunately.
I hope you'll take that with you.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you.
thank you.
And that is our card that we've
All
signed for
all
you.
signs?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much.